Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ignorant Intellectual on Media. Today, I thought I would do an inventory of all my films. Um, you know, if you do this yourself, you could actually use it for insurance purposes if you have a large enough media library. For recompense in case of a fire or sewer backup or whatever in your home that destroys your media library. You have it on video that you can go through, right? So I thought maybe it would be fun also for you guys to see my media library. Um, and I thought I'd break it up into parts because it's pretty large. So maybe I'll do it alphabetically. But first, you need to know um, how I separate or how I organize my media library. All right. So the way that I collect films is I collect them by director. All right. So I'll watch different films. You've watched films ever since you were a little kid, right? So there are films that you've enjoyed and watched, and others you haven't enjoyed very much. So usually you'll start off with the films that you've enjoyed. When you get older and maybe you want to collect media or physical media, you'll go after those films, the ones that you've liked ever since you were a kid and growing up, all the movies that you've watched, the ones that you've actually liked, right? So, well, if you take a step further from there and get a little bit more into it, you'll find that a lot of the times the movies that you like come from the same director, right? So maybe you liked Steven Spielberg, or maybe you watched, Jaws, and you thought that was a really cool movie, and then you watched E.T. the Extraterrestrial, thought that was a really cool movie, but you don't know that Spielberg is the one that directed these films, right? But then as you get older, you you learn more about film, and you realize that Steven Spielberg made a good amount of films when you were young. I mean, if you're around my age, anyways. Um, that were part of your childhood, part of your growing up, part of your teen years, and that kind of thing. So then you collect Spielberg as a director. You try to get his filmography or whatever, and then you can watch all of them. Then you got a good idea of Spielberg as a director, right? So, and usually the reason why I collect by director, also the second reason is that usually if you like one film by that director and you watch another film by them and you like that film, you're probably going to like most of his filmography because you just like his style or you like the way that he makes movies, right? So by collecting by director, you minimize the amount of films that you end up buying um, that are basically crap or whatever, and then you have to get rid of them, right? So if you do cold buys or blind buys, right? Um, it's easier to buy a blind buy of a film that you haven't seen by a director that you feel confident that you'll enjoy his film. You'll be more confident that you'll actually like, let's say, the next film that you haven't seen by him. You don't mind picking it up as a blind buy, right? So it just reduces the number of crappy films you end up accidentally watching. And as you get older, I mean, when you're young, that may not be as important, but as you get older and uh, most of your life is behind you, not in front of you, you become more and more jealous of your time, right? So anyway, so I collect films by directors. All right. So how it works usually is I watch a film. Maybe it's the first time I've watched it. Maybe I watch it on Netflix. Maybe a friend recommends a film, or a critic recommends a film that I'm reading or whatever. And so then I go search out that film, and then I pick it up, and then I watch it. And if I enjoy it, I'll pick up another film by that director. And if I enjoy that one, then he's on my list of directors I collect, right? But there are directors um, that I don't collect, but maybe one of their films I really enjoyed, right? So, but then a second film that I watched wasn't very good, and then a third film wasn't very good. And I said, okay, I'm not going to collect him. He made this one great film, and everything else after that wasn't very good or whatever, right? So you do have artists that have like one album, one LP, one CD, one film, one painting, one whatever, and the rest of his stuff just uh, isn't up to snuff like that film was, right? So in those ones where I don't collect the director, what I'll do is I'll put those in alphabetical order by title. All right, so half of my music library is done by director, because when I go up to my shelves and I want to watch a certain director, I don't want to be running around everywhere in my library to find some of his movies. They're all going to be in one place, right? And then the one-offs, what I call one-offs, a film that I've really enjoyed but I don't collect that director, will be in alphabetical order by title. Now there are some directors that I'll have more than like multiple copies, multiple different um, films of theirs. It's just that I haven't investigated them. I may have, like I did buy a very large library off of somebody a few months back, so I have a bunch of films that I haven't watched yet of directors that person uh, respected and bought as well, but I'm not collecting them yet because I haven't seen those films, right? So there are some films that are in my alphabetical order by title uh, that are, you know, from one director of multiple films, right? They're just in alphabetical order by title because I haven't watched that director or come across that director enough to see whether I want to add him to my collecting of directors yet. So they're in the alphabetical order. So those are the two main ones. I'll have a bunch of my films will be um, by director, last name of the director. All right. Um, and a bunch of films the one-offs will be in alphabetical order um, by title. All right. There are some box sets that are box sets of not the director but the actor, so they'll be in the alphabetical order, not by title but by last name of the actor. Like if the box set is, let's say, a Cary Grant box set, then if I put it in, uh, if I put it in with anything, I'll put it in with the alphabetical order by title, and just put it in Grant in the G's, right? So, and then you'll have some box sets that are by genre. So those will go in a genre in the alphabetical order, but by genre. So let's say film noir would be in the F's, or horror would be in the H. That kind of thing, like a box set of a bunch of horror, maybe Universal horror films all together in a box set would be in the horror section, which is part of the alphabetical order by title section. All right, so those kind of things, and then those are two sections. The third section is the ones that are numerically ordered, like the Criterion Collection or the Masters of Cinema Collection or the Indicator Collection. They all number their films. So since they numbered them, I figure I'll respect that. And once I get enough of them, anyways. If I only have like 25 or 30 numbered films, or even less than that, 10 or something like that, I'm not going to order them by number. I'm just going to put them either in their director or in the alphabetical order by title section of my um, section of my library. But like Indicator, I have enough of those, and Masters of Cinema, I have enough of those, and the Criterion Collection, I have like maybe 400 of the Criterion. So those are all in numerical order in their own section, right? Okay, so basically, I have alphabetical order by title section, director by last name of the director section, and then numerical section is another one, uh, six, uh, nine of these uh, DVD towers that you can get from IKEA, or you used to. They stopped making them now, but anyway, so that's how my library is set up. So I thought maybe I'd start to show the alphabetical order by title section first, and then we'll go on to the director section and then the numerical section, and we'll see how many videos it'll take to do that, right? So anyways, okay, so let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video because I'm going to get up and set everything up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so uh, I'll be right back. Okay, so basically my den with all my films are in my basement, and this is the stairwell going down to the basement. All right. So this is where I keep my Criterion collection. All right. So these shelves here and those four shelves over there. All right. All right. So if I go down, you can get a better look. So there's the second shelf of the Criterions. This is the first shelf of the Criterions, which I showed. All right. So if we walk down the stairs further, there's the other Criterions with that that white shelving unit's kind of blocking some of it. All right. So where that light is, I don't want my films to fade. So I put a blocker on the top left corner to take out all that light. So whenever I want to access a movie, I just flip it upwards and then just take out the movie, right? So those are the criterions. And then we get down and here's the entrance into, that's my laundry room over there. Here's the entrance to my den, okay? So um, if I walk into my den and then turn around back into the hallway to go up the stairwell, well, at the bottom of the stairwell, those are all my Masters of Cinema, all right? And those ones down there are my indicator films, okay? So Masters of Cinema, an indicator. So my hallway stairwell holds all my numbered films, all right? And then up there, all right? And then my main has my computer, my desk, and then all my films. So as you notice, there's a lot of films that aren't even shelved. So these films here, I'm selling those, all right? So they're not in my collection. They're either doubles or I have some French language films that don't have English subtitles to them. So uh, I'm not going to watch them. So I'm not going to keep them. So up at the top, those are those Eclipse by the Eclipse groups of films from directors in the Eclipse series by the Criterion Collection. And this is starting with the A's. So alphabetical by title, starting at the A's in that corner up there, then going around to here, over to here. Those are all the ones in alphabetical order by title. These ones starting in that corner over there by the Can album, if you notice it right there. This is the starting of the directors. They go in all those shelves, and then around to these four shelves by my TV. All right, so those are all alphabetical by director last name. These are basically all the books that I own. All right, it's a bit close. I'd have to stand further away for you to probably see it. There it is, both my couch and that's basically my book library. All right, so that's my den. There's my, I think it's a 60-inch TV, my Blu-ray player, and my computer is attached to the smart TV as well. Okay, so let's start with and these are all the things that these are TV shows that I'm probably going to sell, other stuff that I'm going to sell, and I boxed all my CDs, so they're in all these boxes. These are extra Blu-rays that I'm going to sell. These are concert DVDs and Blu-rays that I'm selling. Anyway, so that's and you have a bunch of these box sets. There's the Star Trek, the complete series of films for Star Trek and Star Trek Next Generation. A nice 60th anniversary of Singing in the Rain, the Twilight Zone television show, the complete set on Blu-ray, and Clint Eastwood, and so on and so forth. So, and my albums, or whatever. But basically, we're going to do the films. All right. So starting off with with A, all right, or numbers actually. We'll go through, see if this works or not. This will be a test, all right? So I have, the first one I have is 12, all right? I'm not going to go in depth because this will take forever, but this is 12 if you've never heard of this film, all right? All right. Next up is a Blu-ray of 12 Years a Slave, all right? After that is 1981. Then 2 Days in Paris on DVD. 2046 on DVD. 3 Iron, all right? DVD. 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days on DVD. $42 on Blu-ray. Jackie Robinson story. 5 Fingers. Seven Faces of Dr. Lao. Okay. And a Snapper Case DVD. Seven Men from Now. Western. I have not seen this film yet. 9. I have seen this film. This is a really good film. If you like animation, this is a great one. I'm still looking for this one on Blu-ray. 13 Rue Madeleine. James Cagney, war film. A Chinese Ghost Story. Japanese anime, I think. Or is it American? Maybe American. I haven't watched it yet, so. The Chorus Line. One of the great musicals. A Countess from Hong Kong. Sophia Loren and Marlon Brando. A Country Doctor and Other Fantastic Films from Franz Kafka. Made and directed by Koji Yamamura. So this is older Japanese animation. A Double Life. So these are all basically the A's. A Jester's Tale. A Letter to Three Wives. So this is the Studio Classics from 20th Century Fox. These ones are numbered. All right, so this is number 27 in that. I think there's like, don't quote me on it. I'll put it at the bottom of the the screen how many there are in this series. I know there's a British version of it and an American version of it, and sometimes the numbering is a little bit different from it. But I don't have enough of them to make a separate, like I do the Criterion or whatever. I just don't have enough of them, right? So, all right. And then A Letter to Three Wives on Blu-ray. I have not combined the Blu-ray to the DVD because I am collecting the Fox films, the numbered ones. As I find them, I'll collect them. Once I get all of them, I'll put them in a separate, section, right? So I'm going to keep the Blu-ray and the DVD. All right. So James Garner in A Man Called Sledge. Robert Bresson's A Man Escaped. Artificial Eye. These ones, if you don't have any artificial eyes in your library, they are pretty good. The titles in that label. The guy that I bought that, I mentioned in a previous video, I bought like 1,500 to 2,000 films off a gentleman that had a bunch of really great films from the 20s up to the 60s. Well, this is one of those films. Right? So I could actually put Robert Bresson in its own section in the directors, but I haven't seen much of his films yet. So, A Man for All Seasons. A Minute to Pray, and A Second to Die. One of these spaghetti westerns, if I remember correctly. What was his name? What's his name? He's famous. He's famous in all these low budget, uh, you know, Western films and so on and so forth. What was his name? Anyways, um, A Monster Calls. I just watched this film recently. This is pretty good. I thought it would be better than it is, but overall, it's a really good film. This boy and a monster that's actually a tree turns into a tree and tells him three stories. And anyways, I won't ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. The animation is really good in it. So the CGI stuff. A Place in the Sun. I picked this up because of Elizabeth Taylor. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time. Even stars Shelley Winters as well. This is like a love triangle film. I've reviewed this film on previous videos. A Prophet, or Un Prophète, if I said it properly in French. That was another one that was in that 2000 film collection. A Quiet Place, starring the man from The Office. And this is supposed to be a pretty friggin' intense film. Basically, I mean, you probably already heard about it, but basically we live in a world where I guess there's monsters, and if they make a noise, the monsters will search them out and kill them or whatever, right? A Separation. This one's an interesting film. I haven't seen it, but the reputation of it is very good. You'll notice a lot of films that I have in my collection I have not watched yet because, like I said, I bought an S load of films all at once a few months ago, and I'm still going through them all. So, so that is A Separation. A really nice Judy Garland edition, a Blu-ray edition of A Star Is Born. Notice how I've put it in a plastic bag, right? So, nice Blu-ray edition of that. A Tale of Springtime. This was also in that 2000 film collection. So was A Star Is Born, by the way. And this one's still new. It's still in its plastic. The guy bought it and didn't even open it up yet, and neither have I really. So, and he paid $12.98 for this film. The MGM World Films is a good. It's a good, sub label or subgenre from MGM. That's a pretty good series, right? So, right around watching that. A Taste of Honey, another one in that collection. All right. A lot of these are region B or region 2 that you'll need because they came out in Europe and he imported them. The gentleman that I bought all these films off of, he bought a lot of films from Europe. So they're all region 2. But for some reason, when I went over there, he didn't have a region 2 or a region free Blu-ray player. So I'm not sure how he watched them. He probably watched them the same way as I will do with this. So what I would do, if you want to watch a region 2, is this region 2? It might or might not be. I'm not sure. I have to look. Anyways, A Taste of Honey. But if you do want to watch a region 2 and you don't have a region 2 or a region free Blu-ray player and you don't want to buy one, you can do it through your computer if you wish. All right. A Taste of Honey. A Very Long Engagement. All right. A Walk in the Sun. This one is new as well, I think, because that's why I put it in the plastic bag. The Accused. This is my argument for Jodie Foster's greatest film. It's an amazing film.
It's a bit brutal with the sexual assault on the pool table um, in this film, but it's basically a story about, like, she dresses up very provocatively. She's very flirty. And does that mean that she is inviting it and it's not actually rape when she says no? Right? That kind of thing, that kind of, controversy. I mean, it's not a controversy anymore, but when the film came out, it was a controversy. Like, everybody knows now that it doesn't matter the way a woman dresses. It's not an invitation for a sexual assault, right? So, um, but back then it was like, um, there was arguments about it, right? And lawyers would use that argument in court, right? So, anyways, it's a really powerful film, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
All right, so that was The Accused.
The Accidental Tourist. This one, the guy had this came from that thing as well, so it looks like he paid $2.99 for this one.
All right.
And this one I bought myself, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. It's the two films together plus the animated, the short animated series, all on like 3 discs. Adopt a Sailor. I watched this film. I wasn't really impressed with it. I may like once I run out of space in the A's, I may just get rid of this film. But overall, it's a pretty good film. It's just not as good as uh, what people who saw it recommended it to me. So, and here's a Eureka film. So, The Adventures of Mark Twain. So this is an animated film. All right, Eureka put it out. All right, it's not part of their Masters of Cinema collection, but it was part of that collection that I bought off the guy. I have not watched it yet. Aelita, is that how you pronounce this? Aelita, the Queen of Mars. Right. I think this is one of the classic, sci-fi films.
All right.
Aeon Flux. I like the animated series, if I'm not confusing myself. And I love films that have a female lead in an action film, right? Because most all action films are done by guys, so I like collecting the ones that are done by that are led by women, right? After Dark, My Sweet. Full-length feature film of Afro Samurai Resurrection on Blu-ray. Air Guitar Nation. This is a hilarious film. This is an awesome film if you've never seen it. One of the best documentaries I've ever watched. And it's basically air guitar. This guy's playing, the air with their hands on stage, and there's like a competition in, I think it's in Norway, that every year there's a competition of who's the best air guitar performer, right? So it's pretty funny because how can you take it seriously? But it is a serious competition, but it's also fun to watch, right? So if you haven't seen this film, it's pretty funny. It's a really good film, and I got a really nice edition of Akira, the special edition, and this is my argument for the greatest anime film of all time. It's a nice box set DVD.
Right.
And Al Capone, the Warner Brothers Archive collection. There's a lot of good films in the Archive collection by Warner Brothers, older films, right? And this one, the animation of Alexiev, another one that was in that collection that I bought off that guy. So he liked early animation, the beginnings of animation on film. So I have much of it, a lot of it. I just haven't watched it. So,
All right. Next up is
Alice. This is BFI, the British Film Institute. All right. And Alice, the British Film Institute is a really good a label to get films. You know, if you're going to import them over from Britain, uh, the BFI is a good label, and they have a really good selection of films. So this is also another one that I got from the gentleman that I bought the 2,000 films off of. You're going to hear me say that a lot when I'm doing these videos because um, there were so many of them, right? And Alice in Wonderland, all right? Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, W.C. Fields. This is an extremely good film. I mean, so is the Disney film, but this one is a really good film. You know, it's not animation, right? So and then I have the Alien Predator Total Destruction collection, which basically has all the Alien films and all the Predator films. All right, in a nice box set, Blu-ray, DVD. This also, I think, comes in a Blu-ray, but I haven't found it yet on Blu-ray. So, as you notice, it's in a plastic bag, nicely set up so that the box doesn't get wrecked when I take it on and off the shelf. It's not a very sturdy box. It's a thin cardboard box. So, and then I have the Alien 6 film collection on Blu-ray. All right, so we have all the aliens on DVD and all the aliens on Blu-ray as well. All right, so this is still new. Is it new? It may be new. Anyways, I put it in a plastic bag to protect it. All right, and then I also got the Blu-ray, the 2 Alien versus Predator films on Blu-ray. So that's in plastic as well. See how nice it looks when you put it in plastic and you know it's protected, and the flimsy box that it comes in, you know, will stay intact, right? So, and next up is All About Eve, which may be Bette Davis's best film. It's an extremely good one about her as an actress getting older. If you haven't seen this film, I highly recommend it. Has one of the older films that is great to watch. All right, so all About Eve. All right, now we'll go over. So I do it from here, but then I move over to shelves on the other wall and continue with the eggs. All right, so we have All the King's Men. All right. The lighting isn't as good over here. We have Raoul Surveys. I'm not sure what this film is. I haven't seen it. Oh yeah, it's another one of the early animation films that I got from that guy's collection. All right. Then we have Altered States in a snapper case DVD. Notice I put it in a plastic because it's paper. Anything with paper, you should be protecting with plastic to keep it in good shape, right? I have a nice edition, the collector series of Amélie Poulain. All right, it's one of the best romantic films I've ever seen. She's like a little Dickens in there, trying to set people up without them knowing. It's a quite a fun film, if you don't mind a French language with English subtitles. All right, one of the all-time classic horror films from the 80s, or was it the late 70s? The Amityville Horror. This has a personal thing to me because I saw this in a theater and with my sister, and it scared the living crap out of me. And she didn't make it easier because she's seen the film before, so she knows the jump scenes where you jump, and she kind of grabs me and makes me jump even more. So, An Affair to Remember. This is another one of those numbered ones from 20th Century Fox Studio Classics. So there's a good amount of them. I think there's 40 or 50 of them altogether, but I haven't got enough of them to put them together yet. All right. American in Paris. All right. So that's one of the great, that's Gene Kelly from Remember Kelly. Yeah. And it's one of the great, musicals, early musicals. and An Officer and a Gentleman. This is a great romantic film starring Richard Gere. Um, Lou Gossett Jr. is really good in this film, by the way. This is probably his best film where he plays a drill sergeant. So saw this one in the theaters. So whenever I see a film in the theaters when I'm young, I kind of want to get it so that I can watch it for nostalgia purposes. The Amazing Spider-Man on Blu-ray and DVD. All right, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. All right, then American History X. This is one of the greatest films of all time about skinheads and neo-Nazis. Um, it may be Edward Norton's greatest film. The sidewalk tooth scene, you won't know what that is unless you've seen the film, but the sidewalk tooth scene is an extremely violent scene, one of the most violent scenes I've ever seen on film. And it will like give you the shivers or whatever, like, ugh, that kind of thing. So American Hustle. Anything that's a DVD that has a slipcase for it, I protect the paper in the slipcase by putting it in a plastic bag. All right. This could be Christian Bale's best film, more than even the Christopher Nolan Batman's one. So, American Psycho. Amour, which is just basically love in French. All right. Amour. All right. And Soon the Darkness. All right. On Blu-ray. This is one of the ones I got from that when I bought that collection off the guy. Marlene Dietrich and Angel. On Blu-ray. These are all Kino Lorber studio classics. That's a good series of films to pick up if you want to collect some older films. The Ape, Boris Karloff, another Kino Lorber. All right. And Appleseed. This is one of my all-time favorite anime films. The scenes of the city and the shots of the city the CGI is just extremely beautiful in this film. I was blown away by it back when I first watched this. It was a while ago, maybe more than a decade ago. But the animation in this is extremely good, even if it's on a DVD. And this is it's a steelbook DVD. Appleseed, and then there was a Appleseed Ex Machina, which is the second one of the two films. Right. I've been looking for those on Blu-ray, but I haven't been able to find them yet on Blu-ray. So, and Arachnophobia, one of the, how would you describe it? The greatest heebie-jeebie movie, the one that gives you the heebie-jeebies, if you know that expression. I mean, I was thankful when what's his name, John Goodman came in as the comic relief. He's the insecticide guy or whatever, the guy who kills the bugs or whatever. There he is there. It's quite funny when he shows up, right? And it takes the tension out of the film because it really is a tense film to watch if you haven't seen it. And if you really do have a fear of spiders, I would highly suggest you do not watch that film. Otherwise, that fear is going to go up. All right. So, all right, The Artist, a nice Blu-ray DVD combo. It's in a box set, so I put it in a plastic bag. All right. And As Good as It Gets. This is quite a good film. When I first watched it, I was I was surprisingly impressed by it, and it's become one of my favorite like romantic comedies of all time. Although I think my favorite is When Harry Met Sally, but this one is up there with it, even though Jack Nicholson is so much older than Helen Hunt. But it's quite a funny film, and Jack Nicholson really, really, really is good as as the obsessive compulsive guy in the film. So next up is L'assassinat du Père Noël, the assassination of Santa Claus. So just with that title, you know you want to watch that film, right? The assassination of Santa Claus.
Sure. At least I think that's what it is in English. All right.
Um, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. This is a very good movie. And what's his name? Casey Affleck, that guy, did a really good job in this film.
Yeah.
The Awful Dr. Orloff. All right, another one from that collection that I got. He really loves the old thrillers, the old horrors, the old science fiction, and he got so many of them on Blu-ray. It's quite incredible. All right,
Directed by Jesse Franco.
and Atomic Blonde again, another film that I really enjoy because it has a female lead in an action film. All right.
And
Atragon. Atragon. So it's like a is this a like a giant monster film from the beginnings of cinema? Ishiro Honda directed it, right? So it's like a Godzilla style film, right? Attack Girl Swim Team versus the Undead. It's a zombie film, a Japanese zombie film. You gotta love Japanese zombie films, right? Switchblade Pictures. Is that an interesting name for a film company? Switchblade Pictures, right? So this is just a an exploitation film, Japanese exploitation film with the zombies and a swim team fighting them. Right. Attila Marcel, another one that was in that collection that I got off the guy. Autofocus. All right. Not sure why I picked up that film.
probably from its reputation.
And Automata, Antonio Banderas, Automata on Blu-ray. I picked this up because it looked interesting, like a futuristic film with Antonio Banderas in it. All right. Next up is Avant-garde, experimental cinema from the 20s and the 30s. A Kino Video, Kino Lorber, Kino Video. So it's a group of films. That's a box set or whatever. All right, another one that was from that guy's collection. And the Avengers, Marvel The Avengers on Steelbook. All right. And the Avengers Age of Ultron on Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray. All right. And then Avengers Infinity War on Blu-ray, Blu-ray. A lot of people end up putting the Avengers and all the other Marvel Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe titles all together in, chronological order, but I'm just putting them in. Maybe when I have all of them, I might do that. But Away from Her, this is one of the great Canadian films directed by Sarah Polley. It's about dementia or Alzheimer's. Um, and Babette's Feast.
I think I'll stop there. So Babette's Feast.
The start of B's. So I did the A's so far. So Babette's Feast. All right, and I'll stop there, and we'll continue in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed it so far. And we'll do a bunch of episodes. I've done A, so we'll do letters, and then we'll go on from there. And I hope you like this, and give a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want to subscribe to my channel that you haven't done so yet, uh, I, I would quite enjoy that. And hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you in the next film. And bye for now. Next film. You ever notice I always say film instead of video? In the next video. And have a good day, and bye for now.